What's going on, guys? We're back with another shop update video, and this video is going to start out with me welding together some core support gussets that somebody has ordered off my website, offseasonfabrication.com. So I have our parts here, all laser cut, which I'm really excited about because I used to cut these out by hand with my plasma cutter. So now I put them into CAD, they're all getting laser cut, and they come out looking perfect, and I just have to weld them. So if you don't know what these are, let me explain real quick. This is my truck. So the core support on the 09 to 14 F150s and Raptors, if you off-road hard enough, it will bend forward here. If you nosedive one jump bad, it will bend forward. It bends where, I don't know if it's too dark for you to see or not, but in here where it's just this paper thin metal, that will bend forward. So I sell these weld-on gussets on my website that add 1/4 inch of thickness to the area that bends, and a bolt-on version as well. So this is the bolt-on version. If you want to hear me talk more about why this happens, or why I think it happens, and see me repair a bent one, go look at the video I did. It's like 2 videos or 3 videos ago, I think, on the Red Raptor Bears truck. But let's get these welded up. I would run out of wire right in the middle of that. Damn it. Alright, these are done and ready to ship out now, so let's move on to the next thing. Alright, on to the next thing. I debated whether I was even going to show this or not because I don't want people to think my truck is a piece of crap, but what the hell, I'm going to show you guys anyway. Check this out. That's not very good. So, unfortunately, I live in northern Ohio in the Rust Belt, and anything that's driven in the winter with the salt in the roads gets eaten up after a while. So this truck was unfortunately a daily driver for many years before it became an off-road truck that got to live in a garage and stay clean all the time. But luckily the frame is really clean on it. Really everything is really clean on it except for cab corners, rocker panels, and that. So we gotta fix that. It's been like that, I think, probably 7 or 8 years. Like, I remember this being like this a couple years before I even bought my house. And I bought my house in 2020, so it's been a long time, but it has gotten a little worse over the years. And now there's movement here. And that is what, you know, the doors are on that latch. Well, it's unlocked, so I can't really show you, but I'm afraid it's rattling around like that on the dunes. So we're gonna fix that. I bought a little sheet of 16 gauge steel right here. Let's make something happen. Alright, I just cut this out, and now I'm going to start bending it into that stock rocker panel shape. And hopefully this goes well. About to find out.
Exist in school.
Okay guys, so I got all that junk cleared out of there the best that I can, and I was able to take my piece of metal I cut out and bend it in the vise into a pretty good shape, drilled some holes in it for spot welds. Obviously I do not have the correct tools or skills to be doing sheet metal work, but this is good enough to repair my own truck. I would not be selling this to a customer. Just want to put that out there. It fits pretty good. I think once I tack it and start forcing it into place more, it'll be even better. Let's weld. Alright guys, I got that done. I think it turned out pretty good, especially for somebody who doesn't have much sheet metal experience or the right tools to be doing that. Up next, I'm going to rebuild some shocks, which I've been doing a lot on in these videos lately. So to mix things up this time, I'm not going to film it like I've done the last 3 or 4 times. I'm going to put the GoPro on my chest and do it like POV style. You guys know what I love about suspension kits that have a bypass on the outside of the upper arm like this, is that the bypass shock is so easy to take off. I've already let the nitrogen out of it. This is my last bolt now, so we'll have this thing off here in a second. Alright, guys, I had said in the video when I rebuilt my rear shocks that the only reason I didn't rebuild my fronts at the same time when I was getting this thing ready for the year is because I wanted to go out and drive it, and since I added compression valving to the rear shocks, I knew I wanted to add compression valving to the rear shocks. What I'm trying to say is, I wasn't sure about the front. I wanted to go out and drive it after the rears were done and see if I should leave the fronts alone when I rebuild them or if I should add valving, and I decided to leave them alone. So we're just gonna rebuild these, but I am gonna take the shims apart and measure them and see what's in here. First things first though, we gotta get these things cleaned up. Alright, I got them cleaned up enough to take apart. So, like I said, I already took the nitrogen out before I took them off the truck. But let's pull this valve out of here. There we go. Alright, no oil came out of there, so that's a good sign. I've rebuilt these once. I want to say I put bypasses on this truck, gosh, 2021 maybe? On the front, and I want to say after like 2 years they sprung a leak, so I rebuilt them because of that, and I have not touched them since. Just cleaning some sand out of there. Alright, we gotta break this little set screw loose. Please be nice. Thank you. Alright, that's loose. Now, pull this whole cap off. Dust cap. Dust cap, end cap, whatever. Yeah. There we go. Okay, that's off. Now we need to get the snap ring out of there so the whole seal head and shaft assembly can come out. But first we need to push the seal head down so I don't know if you can see down in there, but you cannot squeeze the snap ring without pushing the seal head down because it's like in the way. So we use this fancy little tool here that sometimes you need a hammer for. good. Snap ring pliers. Get this guy out of there. Okay. There's our snap ring. It's funny, sometimes shocks do not give me a hard time, other times it is a real pain. These are not looking like they're gonna be very fun. There we go, okay. I've pulled it now so that the outside O-ring on the seal head went into our snap ring groove, which that's a whole nother battle, but at least we're there. Now, if that's out some, I can thread the dust cap back on and use that edge to our advantage. I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about. I'll take a piece of wood. And go like that. There we go. We're out. It's funny how some shocks pull right apart. I've had better luck with Kings, actually. Kings, in my experience, have come apart a lot easier than Foxes. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'll point the camera down when I'm messing with the shims and stuff to make sure. Alright, now that the whole shaft assembly is out, I'm going to focus on getting the reservoir done first, so let's do that. Already got the cap off, already got the valve out, so let's push this guy in. Let me get this on there first. There we go. And now we have a snap ring to get out, which this has the other kind. It's not the kind that you use snap ring pliers on. It's these skinny guys. So there you go. And then we can pull this cap out. There's that. All right. Now, same deal on the other end. We're gonna push the whole reservoir in now. Get the snap ring out of this side. Okay, that wasn't enough. There we go. Oh, nice and covered in sand. Oh yeah, that's nice. I love when I do stuff like that. At least it was on camera this time. That is because I didn't flip this upside down and hold it over the drain and hold the hose up high. I totally forgot to do that. I just freaking let it drain and then I pivoted it right back up. Damn it. All right. All right, I gave her a quick wipe down and we're back. So I'm gonna get this cleaned off and change this O-ring. Okay, here's our new seal kit. Looks like that guy is correct. So that's going in the trash. Let's finish getting this cleaned up though. That's cleaning up really nice. Cool. New O-ring going on. Cool. Take some oil. All right, that's done. Let's do that same thing to this. Cool, that's good. Reservoir. All right. Yes, it is threaded. Okay, some are not. Gonna get our IFP, internal floating piston, pulled out of here. Beautiful. Changing seals, changing seals. Really not a bad job. Takes some time, it's a lot of cleaning. It's really not a bad job. Okay. All right, reservoir's ready to go back on here now. There we go. There we go. Now we gotta clean up that sandy snap ring. Go. All right, I did mark it to clock it right, but you can always spin these until you put nitrogen in them, so it's not the end of the world if you don't. All right, this is ready to go in. Another snap ring. This kind's easy to work with. I kind of prefer this kind. My shocks in the rear of my truck have the other kind, and they're kind of a pain in the ass. Those shocks in general are kind of a pain in the ass. Those are 3.5 by 18. These are 3.0 by 8. The small ones are such a piece of cake, you know, when you compare it. I still hammered that back in. There we go. All right, reservoir is pretty much done. Put this valve in for now. All right, guys. I am not going to worry about the O-rings instead of the adjusters on these. These have the quick adjust things on them. I'm not entirely sure if this kit has the correct O-rings, but I've never done the quick adjust. My rear shocks don't have them. Nobody else's shocks I've worked on have these. And being my own shocks, they're not leaking. I'm not really worried about it, to be honest. So, not gonna touch those. But on the basic, normal adjusters, it's a piece of cake. You just use this hex right here on threads. Some springs and little ball bearings might come out. But you pull it out, change the O-ring, put it back together the same way it came apart. Nothing to it. Time for this stuff. So, we get the shaft assembly in the vise now and work on that. Gosh, dang. All right, now when it comes to the piston and everything on the shaft, I like to lay it out in order, especially if you're new at this. It's a smart thing to do. So we're gonna put our nut there and work our way down. So I'm just gonna pull the whole piston off like this in one go. There's 3 shims that are the same size there. And looks like 2. So this is probably what Fox calls a 3-2-1 on their valving chart for these. I'll put that on the screen so you guys can see. But as long as these are 0.15 thickness, I already know what these are. But we can check anyway. Alright, so I got the piston taken apart and I have the compression valving or shims laid out in order here. And you can see there's 3 that are the same diameter, then 2, and then I think that's a little, well, it might be the same actually. And then another 2, and then it gets smaller. Let's see what these are. Yeah, 0.15, just like I would suspect. Yeah, I bet these are all 0.15s. Yeah, these are all 0.15. Now rebound, I would guess, is 0.12. Let's grab one here. Let's see, flip that upside down and grab one. Oh, wow. No way. Okay, those are thinner than I would have guessed. Wow, yeah, okay. Cool. Well, I like the way the front of the truck is working. I still don't have any plans to change any of this, but at least now I know what's in it. And if I were to make any changes later, I don't have to take them apart to see what's in it. I can just look back on this video and then order valving accordingly. I'm gonna set that all to the side, and we gotta mess with all the seals and everything on here. All right, seal head time. So we're gonna take this little spacer off and just set it aside. And now I'm gonna unthread the dust cap because I threaded it back on. Well, I guess we'll do the dust cap before the seal head. That way I can slide it back on. But the seal head's coming off. There we go. Dust cap's coming off. All right. So this guy has a hard plastic frickin' thing in it that's not very fun to change. And you will probably see me struggle with that here in a second. It's always hard to tell. Is the pick going to rip through the thing or is it going to come out? It's ripped. We were getting there too. Oh man, that thing is so freaking tough. There it is. Cool. Alright, I'm going to clean that out the best I can. It's pretty good to me. Alright. New one's going in. Oh yeah. Very, very fun. Now, all the Foxes I've done have been like this, but on Kings, they have like a little press-in deal that you can use the vise or a shop press to press the old one out and press the new one in. It's actually a lot easier than this. And then there's another thing like this. It's not as hard, but you see it looks very similar. It's a little more like rubberish that goes in the seal head here. And again, you have to fight it to change it on the Foxes. But on the Kings, there's a little ring, snap ring comes out, and it makes it a piece of cake. A little like access panel, you could say. Thanks, Fox. There we go. That's in. Alright, now let's get that back on. Try to aim the camera up for you. Sometimes these like to fold over when you're doing this, and it makes it not fun. But little oil helps. That seemed like it went right on. Check it with a light. Yeah, we're on there good. Cool. Slide that down. Aim you guys back down. And let's mess with the seal head now. Okay, so first off, I gotta clean this thing up. Get this guy out. Yeah. And there's an O-ring down in there. Right there. Get this all cleaned up. And we're going back onto the shaft. Again, you got to make sure that that seal there on the bottom doesn't get folded over when you're putting it on the shaft. I don't know if you guys can see right now, but I'll edit it out if you can't. I'm gonna flip this upside down just to really make sure I got that seal in there correctly. Yeah, we're good. Back into the vise. Okay. That's all good. Now it's time for the piston to go back on. So, well, actually, we have this little spacer first. Piston. Now this has to go on the way it came off, guys, because the holes drilled in it are different depending on the way you're looking at it. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see what I'm showing you? You have holes as this travels up into the shock. Oil is coming through holes and out the compression shims, and vice versa when it's rebounding. Rebound shims are on. Cool. Alright, shock body's back in the vise. I'm just finishing cleaning it up, making sure everything looks good. Ugh. Nice and beautiful in there. Time for some red juice. Fox JM92. Prepare myself to smell like this for the rest of the day. Gonna fill it up above all of the ports. Now we're ready to put this in. Without ripping a piece of my glove into the shock, please. Okay. Now what needs to happen is I need to go up and down with this a bunch of times to make sure I get all the air out of the tubes here, the bypass tubes. Alright, I'd say that's good. We're only dealing with 2 tubes on this shock. It's nothing crazy. So what I do now is I pull the shaft all the way up like this, and it kind of naturally stops when you get to like the reservoir port. And then I will not go higher than that. So I pull it to there, and now you want to add oil so that when you put the seal head in, oil overflows. That way you know there's nothing in there but oil. So seal head's coming down. holding the shaft up, and we're gonna push that in. It's gonna overflow, make a nice huge mess for me. Oh yeah, thank you. And now we're to the O-ring, and it won't go farther, and that's because there's air in the reservoir. Jesus, I'm making a terrible mess this time. Terrible. Okay, air is coming out. So let the air back out. I even take the valve out. That way there's not even like a, you know, pressure vacuum chamber in there. If you know what I'm saying. Get that out. And now this can go all the way in, and when it does, it'll displace oil and move the piston in the reservoir. So we're gonna push this down. Ugh. Got to get it below the snap ring groove, which is right there. All right, snap ring. Is going in. Ugh. We should be able to put some air in here without the shock exploding, hopefully. And it will push the seal head up into place, and the shaft should come out. Ready for this? Let's see. Oh yeah, there we go. Now, I'll put our valve back in there, put pressure in it, check it for leaks everywhere. As long as it's good, which I've never had one leak after rebuild. As long as it's good, I will then let the air back out, fill it with nitrogen, and we can go on the truck. Or in some cases, it's easier to put it on the truck without nitrogen and then get it extended and then add nitrogen. But thanks for watching my POV shock rebuilding video. All right, guys, I got that shock cleaned up and done and put back on the truck, and I have the truck turned around now because I have to do the shock on this side, and I need to do the rust repair too. This side isn't nearly as bad, but the same thing is happening, so I'm just going to do it anyway. If you made it this far into this video, I'm impressed, because I figure that shock rebuild was probably really boring for the majority of people watching this, but I figured I might as well post it, because if somebody is trying to learn how to do this themselves or something, it'd probably help out. But again, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. There'll be more exciting videos in the future. See you next time.